Lorraine, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your patience this afternoon. What's the latest you can tell us about the South Africans? We know many of them are students as well who are stuck in different parts of Ukraine.
Hi, thank you for having me. Well, we've had quite a bit of ups and downs this past few days. We've had children evacuating with their parents. We've had students evacuating with their parents. We still have our ambassador in a bunker that is not evacuating until the last South African is out. Currently, there are students evacuating through Hungary. Through Hungary. We've got people in Moldova. We've got people in Poland. We've had several students being beaten and held at gunpoint by the Ukrainian soldiers at border points and not allowing to cross to the borders. So it's really been rough. We have students are not treated equally by the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are getting to get preference above African and Indian students as well. So, yeah, it's rough.
I interviewed one student last week, Friday. She was in Dnipro, and together
yes.
with other students, and they were thinking of getting on a train, and they contacted Mr. Groenewald, the ambassador, South African
yes.
ambassador in Kiev at the time.
Yes.
They have created a WhatsApp group for everybody, and who told them if they could get on a train to Poland, they should do so. And others were trying to get on a bus to Poland, about a 12-hour or so journey. So you're having these movements all over. Now, more importantly, Lorraine, is the communication. Is this WhatsApp group still communicating? Are they in touch with one another? We also had another student, Vukhari, speaking to my colleague Thulasizwe Simelana, already in a basement, like a bomb shelter in Kharkiv, which is closer to the border with Russia, which was already entered by the Russian soldiers during the weekend, and they were very, very scared.
Yes. Okay. So, in the beginning, some of the South Africans never made themselves known to the South African embassy in Ukraine. So the South African embassy sent out an email to those to tell them, here's the emergency numbers, and those people that didn't make themselves known to the embassy did not get the emails, and they weren't part of the WhatsApp group. And that is where we came in, and we found South Africans and students and that didn't know where to go, didn't know how to evacuate, because that is when Russia started coming in. The trains were full. There was no taxis. The Ukrainians started, if you wanted to get a taxi, they tripled the price if they knew you were a foreigner. Two of our student girls that went through the Merdeka border, the day before they went through the Merdeka border, they were trampled upon and they were injured. Those two girls had to travel by foot for 20 hours. Then they were stuck on the Ukrainian side in no man's land. Then they were beaten by soldiers. So it is difficult to get on a train. It's difficult to get a bus. It's difficult because the funds are up. They're students. Their cards don't work. So, sorry, my phone is just going off with students asking for help. So it is, we've got a network running. I've got two other people that I work with, Kim Kerr in South Africa and Hayley Raked in London. And we have WhatsApp groups getting people accommodation from fellow South Africans all over Europe, asking we can help. So that's what we're coordinating, getting them through the safest border, the quickest way, asking embassies to help and assist us to get paperwork for them, to get paperwork for families. We've got a dad that is Ukrainian with 3 small children, to get him through, because the Ukrainian men are not allowed through. He's married to a South African woman, and Ukrainian men aren't allowed to leave. So, yeah, we're facing, it's quite a challenge. Funds are little for those for the people. Yeah.
Are you able to tell us how many South Africans are we talking about that you've been able to reach? And you've mentioned get to the safest border. Is that Hungary? Is that Poland? Or any border that might take people, foreigners who are fleeing Ukraine?
Yeah. Well, the Polish border at this stage is the most violent to certain races. So most of the people flooded to Poland, and we actually told our students and people to turn around and not go through those borders. We are letting them go through. Hungary is so far the safest and the easiest to go through because we've got contacts at the Hungarian General Consulate assisting us. The people are going through Moldova as well. Romania is a bit difficult. We have certain paperwork that we need to get for them to go through Romania. So at this stage, it's we've already evacuated about 60 South Africans. There's a lot more that went through on the first section with a bus. There was about 50 of them. And then currently on their way, we've got about 40. And then we have people stuck in Odessa. We've got a specialized pediatric surgeon that is stuck in Odessa and he can't get out. We've got our ambassador, Andrei Grunewald, that is still in Kiev. We've got a dad and a 5-year-old boy that's still stuck in the underground metro train. They're not allowed to move because there was a curfew. If you were found outside of your house, you will be shot. So they were, this morning, the first thing they were able to move, but now everyone is trying to get out of Kiev and Odessa to the closest border.
And you are cooperating with DECO, the Department of International Relations
Yes.
and Cooperation. And how is that playing itself out? How is it working, Lorraine?
We're getting a lot of support from them. We're supporting them. If we ask to help, they are there. We are in constant. The Polish ambassador is at the Polish border waiting for the students to come through. We have the Hungarian ambassador that's constantly supporting us. Andrei Grunewald, the Ukrainian ambassador, is permanently supporting us. We are literally every 15 minutes on call with each other. So we're getting a lot of support.
And you said Mr. Grunewald, our ambassador in Kiev, is currently in a bomb shelter, and he says he'll remain underground until every South African possible
Yes.
has made his or her way out to safety.
Yes, yes. Most of the ambassadors have decided to do that. They will wait till the last people are out.
Yeah, and you said the Polish border is violent, and there were 2 South African young women who got injured there. Do you know their condition today?
They are still currently sleeping. They went through the border through into Poland 5 o'clock this morning. They're still sleeping. Their moms have contacted me as well, asking how they are doing. They're still sleeping. So as soon as they're awake, I've got a trauma specialist on standby that will do a Zoom call with them to get, because these kids are traumatized. These people are traumatized. Yeah.
So, Lorraine, if somebody's watching here, South Africans who have people who are there, they've got families here. I mean, the student I spoke to, Miss Moodley, on Friday, said she was in constant contact with family. They were in Dnipro. I don't know where she is today. But
Yeah.
What would your message be?
My message would be, you need to get out. You cannot wait till it's too late. You cannot wait for it's over. We do not know when it's going to be over. We do not know if it's going to get worse. We need you to get out. Contact us. We have a Facebook page. Contact us and tell us where you are so that we can get the fastest, the safest, and the quickest route for you to get out. Yeah. And I'm asking the EU and the UN to ask the Ukrainian soldiers to stop attacking African and Indian students. Please, we need to get these students through. They are refugees. You cannot prioritize Ukrainian citizens above others. Refugees are refugees. The pets of the Ukrainians are treated better than our people, and that is not going to happen. You cannot let that happen.
And the reports we've seen of that kind of discrimination, you have evidence, and the Africans and Indian students have been treated differently.
Yes, they have. We have several where they were taken aside and they were literally taken into areas and they were beaten and they were said, you are not allowed to go until all our Ukrainian women and children have passed the border. They were stopped at the Ukrainian border by, they made their own makeshift Ukrainian border, the police officers or the border police in between no man's land. And they couldn't go back into Ukraine because they were held at gunpoint. And they couldn't go forward to the Polish border because there was another border situated in the middle.
And they were prioritizing Ukrainians. Well, your message is loud and clear. If you are able to get out, you've got a Facebook presence. Any other way of anybody contacting your Ukrainian Crisis Evacuation Committee in Europe there, Lorraine? Any other way besides Facebook?
We only have Facebook because we're inundated with phone calls right now. So if you go to the Facebook page, there is a WhatsApp link that you can follow, and that goes to our Facebook page. That will then take you to the correct section. If it's reporters, if it's family that wants to know where their people are, if it's evacuees that are still in, that's how we will contact. You can contact us.
And you're still in touch with Mr. Andre Groenewald, South Africa's ambassador in Kiev. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Thank you very much, and keep on doing the work that you're doing. It must be very hard coordinating this from so far away in the Netherlands, but the connectivity is helping, and it's very, very tragic to hear that Ukrainians are treating African and Indian students differently and even violently and at gunpoint, stopping them from crossing into Poland.